What is up, Wedding Film School? Welcome to Wedding Film School Live on this beautiful night in September. It's I don't know, man. Like, I'm here with Bobby Burns. How are you doing, Bobby? Oh, that's the wrong filter. Everything is a mess right now, Bobby. I'm doing everything wrong. So while I'm fixing your thing, why don't you tell everybody, how has wedding season been for you? We're currently doing about, at the end of the year, I bet we'll have a solid 210 that we ended up shooting. Yeah, dude, it's been bananas. Just absolutely nuts. My computer, guys, by the way, is totally freezing. And so Bobby, I'm having a hard time getting him to actually appear on the screen, even though we do promise he is here. There he is. I got it. Woohoo! Sorry about that, everybody. Now you just have a weird thing over your face. So, but I'll delete that. Go away, you. Anyway, yeah, it's been a kind of a weird year. Exciting to have to, honestly, like, I'm really excited to just almost be done with it, Bobby. Like we have, I would say, 2 more years of just or 2 more weeks of pretty much madness. Yeah, then things kind of slow down a little bit, and things get a little easier. Whoa. Okay. Seems like that crashed, but this is just going awesome tonight. Anyway, I'm going to try to fix Bobby, and I'm going to be stalling. But while we do that, we got 3 films tonight. Exciting, amazing films. And so 2 of them are actually foreign language films, which is pretty exciting, pretty great. And one of them is from one of our members. If you don't know about our membership, we have a couple different tiers, and you get priority for your reviews. So that is really cool, and we're excited to have it up there because we know some of you guys really take advantage of that. Some of you guys have had your films reviewed like all the time, yo. And so we're just excited to get to do that. So we're going to be starting, and we're going to be doing things a little bit differently, probably from now on. We'll see how it goes for the film critiques. What's up, Caitlin? New member. We're going to be doing things a little differently because we're going to be having, basically, we're going to be trying to limit it to 5-minute films. We might let you guys sneak over by a little, but if you have a longer film than that, then we're going to basically be submitting, the film, I would say we'll probably just be like kind of either bouncing around the film or just cutting it at 5 minutes. But in general, we're going to be cutting it around there because we think it just ends up being a better film for everyone. I'm going to be getting Bobby up here again. So while you're in the chat, I would love to know, how many more weddings do you have this year? Because, yeah. I don't know, I think we have 20 or 30 more films total that we have to do. And then we're going to be close to done. But I'd love to hear how many you got going and what's it been like. I'm also curious about what next year is looking like for you guys down in the chat. There's just so many. I'm bringing Bobby back on right now. Everything crashed. My computer just locked up and we crashed, and it is just technical difficulty city over here. So here we are. See what we got. Bobby. Can you see me, Bobby? So I'm going to play a film, and we're going to get started with that while you guys, while I fix this problem. We're going to start the first film. Oh, there you are, Bobby. I think I can see you. All right. Okay, this is going to be embarrassing. I'm going to put Bobby up on the screen. Here we go. Join with computer audio. You're seeing how the sausage is made. Yes, they can hear you. I'll pin you, Bobby. You back. That was, my computer just went ballistic, Bobby. It was just... We're asking a lot of this computer. So you ready to review a film, Bobby? All right, here we go. So this first film is by one of our, I would say it's a person who's new to our channel. Pretty new to filmmaking too, which I really love. I mean, why do we like that so much? Why is that so cool, Bobby? Like, just when people are submitting their early films. We would say Blossom.
Improved upon, and like, you know, we're not like the authority here, right? Like what we say is not hard and fast black and white truths, but you know, seeing them take some of our critique and the things that we would change and the recommendations that we've given and apply that has been really, really cool to see that process.
Yeah, it has been cool. And for those that missed it, when Bobby's audio got messed up, everything.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, he's good now. Basically, he said it's cool because we get to watch people's first films and see them develop, and it's just a really cool honor for us. So we're gonna watch a film after all this nightmare beginning. We'll probably end up just deleting this live stream later.
This one never happened.
This one never happened. And we got a couple changes we're going to be announcing with the live stream a little bit later. But for now, let's go.
Let's get into that first one.
Oh, this is a foreign language film, by the way. I meant to say that, guys. And it was his first film ever on Blackmagic 4K with a Panasonic 12 to 35 2.8 lens. Second camera was a Canon 250D. Audio messed up on the Efficient, recorder froze, and the audio file got deleted. Reception was very dark. We'll watch the whole film because it's a 6-minute film, so I think I'm okay watching the whole film. So watch the whole film. So
let's do it.
Here we go.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot?
Interesting song choice.
Yeah.
Isn't that? I think this is Swedish. Isn't it such a cool language, Bobby?
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
It just like automatically makes it sound cool.
You're like, So high end.
Yeah.
2021. Eftir daginn í dag eru Pétur og Theodóra komin í hjónaband. Og hvað þýðir það? Það má
Icelandic, even better.
á ýmsan
Oh.
hátt í stuttu máli
I was gonna say it didn't sound like Swedish.
Yeah.
Ofta siðferðilegur, trúarlegur og lagalegur
Beautiful.
milli tveggja einstaklinga samvisku
Oh, he screwed up the coat.
og ábyrgð.
We'll talk a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear. For old lang syne. We'll talk a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne.
Spyrjið ykkur mín, Pétur Mikael Guðmundsson, það einlægur ásetningur?
So, Bobby, would you include any of this or would you not?
I'm actually literally writing. So, guys, just so you know, I'm not like looking at my phone board or something. I'm like writing my notes, right, for my critiques. Because I usually have a notebook, but I forgot my pen, just like I forgot my pen last week. And I can't get up because my dog is laying in my lap. But yeah, so I actually would not, which is what I was writing. Like, I think it sucks. It's always a bummer when you lose an audio file or something goes wrong. But like, I personally would not include it. I would have just taken it out.
Yeah. It would have to be significantly better sending than that for me to include it.
Yeah. Because it's just like, it's one of those things where like, it just automatically, I mean, we can get into it after. We'll talk about it later.
Yep.
Það gangar eiga sem finna eigin konu, eina Þóru, Theodóru Sigurðardóttur, sem Björn Pétursson. Og búskapur eignast henni trú, elska hana og virða, í hverjum þeim kjörum sem lífið lætur ykkur að fundum. Og þetta er mikilvægt. Og spyr ég þig, fagra brúðu, Theodóra Sigurðardóttur, það einlægur ásetningur þinn? Það ganga leiða hinn fjallmyndarlega, Pétur Mikael Guðmundsson, sem stendur sem þinn eigin. Og þú með Guðsjálf reynast konu trú, elska hann og virða, í hverjum kjörum sem lífið lætur ykkur að fundum.
For old lang syne. For old lang syne.
Stök eru þið sterk, en saman eru þið ósigrandi. Skál! Takk fyrir mig!
Terrible speech, Bobby. She shouldn't have said that.
How rude of her. We have no idea what she said.
I bet what if it was like the best speech we've ever heard?
We don't know.
I mean, we could kind of talk over this. There's no audio or music.
That's true.
Hvort ykkar játaði fyrst ást sín?
The shoe game, it is international.
Alvöru, proper
What's up,
ást.
Matt?
I
Right?
love
This is the
you.
shoe game, right?
I love you.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe not. I thought she was holding a shoe.
Maybe it was like just. I'm into this session.
Yeah, it's cool. Dang, Rain, man. That's a
There's some interesting things about this film. Like, it's clearly an inexperienced person, but then there's a few moments.
But also, like, but also pretty good.
I mean, it looks pretty good.
For being a first film. All right, we've got confirmation. It was the shoe game. Dang, I need that guy's suit.
I was literally like, what?
You know, like women aren't allowed to wear white to a wedding? That
Yeah.
guy should not be allowed to wear that suit to that wedding. He's stealing the show.
Yeah, I feel like, let's just, while it's playing,
Dang.
let's just talk.
Yeah.
So, in general, that's fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Óska ég að alla stund, auðumann við þig skáli, hafðu þetta í heimamund, hugur minn fylgir máli.
Beautiful
Við
language.
óskum ykkur farsældar ókomin
Yeah, I
ár,
feel
elsku
like
Pétur
whatever
og
just
Theodóra.
happened, I don't know what they're saying, obviously, but I feel like that ending was like probably really good.
Okay, so let's just go through what we liked about the film. Bobby, you go first.
Yeah, so I've got my list of things I like and don't and thought could use improvement. You want me to just do likes right now?
Yeah, let's just start with the stuff we liked about the film.
Okay.
What like,
So
let's
I think,
give them
like,
some encouragement.
Okay, so first, right off the bat, like I will say that for a first film, there's a lot that's good in this. Like taking that into consideration. So I thought there were times where you used, like, you seem to be aware of using your light. Like there was exposure problems here and there, but like you seem to be angled, you know, decently. Like you were using big window light and prep and stuff like that. I think it could be done better, but it was still good. One thing that I really liked is that you got, okay, for being a first film.
Like even this shot right here,
Yeah.
it's the right shot, and like the
Yeah.
the white balance, maybe a little blue for me, but in general, that's a challenging situation. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty well
Yeah.
done.
And so the next thing I would say is that for being a first film, I think that a lot of times you can get really just like rattled, right? Of like, I don't like, oh, what do I don't know what to capture. There's all these things, whatever. Your like brain is racing. Like you got a lot of coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got a lot of, you know, different angles of what was going on. Like you just saw the shot of their kid, like sitting in the pew. Like that was during the ceremony, right? You went beyond just coverage and got a little more beyond that. And I think that's really hard to do, period. And especially to do it on a first film is really tough.
And I want to jump in on that point while you're there, because we got to head of steam on this.
Yeah.
I really think that is the thing I noticed the most is,
Yep.
and I think to expand on what you said, I think the storytelling chops of like visual storytelling, which is like, you know, a lot of people, they know how to tell a story if the person says, and your love will live forever. You know,
Yeah.
it's like some epic line, right? Which is like, I think good. It's good to do that. But it's harder to go like, if I show a picture of this person, it's going to establish some connection, or if I changing angles, or this is how and I feel like that was just natural to this filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like
I can definitely see some like obviously again, we don't really know what was said for the most part, but like just based on like tonality and stuff, like you can tell that this person knows what they're doing and like is a storyteller.
Daniel,
and it might be very
you're
raw
in chat,
right now.
You're in chat right now, Daniel.
DH Creative. So yeah, like it might be very raw form right now just because you haven't had as much experience, but like you are definitely a storyteller.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I felt like that. I felt like you were like asking your couple to go outside. Maybe the photographer did, but if you did that, that's great. I feel like there's a lot.
And to do all of that on a rainy day.
Yeah, it was pretty. I would say this person has chops. So
Yep.
So let's get into some stuff we think that needs some improvement. So I want to show it like right here. You know, back it up. I'll back it up a little bit. But one of the things I noticed, and a lot of inexperienced filmmakers do, is leaving in like things that are a little unflattering to the couple or to the day. Like, and so like I'll give you an example of something like, and it could be the way you shoot it, and it could be the way you edit it. Like right here, you're coming out of the car, and all I can look at is those randos in the top left corner. And I think that's a car wash in the top right corner.
Or a gas station or something.
Yeah, and it's just like little things like that. Like you know,
And you had the headroom to crop in.
yeah, you could have cropped it. You're shooting 6K or 4K. Might be on a 1080, and I would say please edit on a 1080 timeline if you're doing that. And then, you know, or just like gonna get up a little higher, shoot down. You don't want to see that. But then there's also stuff like including questionable things like this right here. Is that cute or is that gross? You know, like I feel like
food is always like a coin flip. I don't really ever include it.
I don't mind it when it's being served, which is a storytelling element to me.
And there's action to it.
Yeah, but like just food sitting there, especially raw fish. And then like even like this moment right here, where she's sticking her tongue out, like to me that's questionable. Right?
It's like cute. It's with their son. So like I get the motivation behind it, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
There's a few moments in the film where I'm just like, well, maybe that's not the best one of your shots. And this is just like a little too common, or maybe find a way to elevate it a little with shooting it where you can hide like the bad details. And I think that's one of the things I noticed is like he wasn't really covering over some of a lot of weddings are just normal.
Yeah.
We're just shooting these normal weddings and we're trying to elevate them. We're trying to find a way to pull them out of reality and put them in a different place. At the same time, I think that is one of his strengths, that connection to the actual event. So on one hand, it's like, I think maybe elevate it a little, create a little more fantasy. But on another hand, I liked how he story told and he connected to the event. So that was one thing. And then I think, of course, lighting. I always look at lighting. Like,
yeah, that's something I had written down too. Like, especially when you got into the reception, I think bringing a light would be a big help for you.
And really just like when you shoot dance floor stuff, don't be, especially if you're going to use a lens that wide, like you got to get in there. You got to you got to get with the crowd, get in the middle, really, really create a little more of a sense of, to me, dancing is all about like the intimacy of the dance floor.
Yep.
You want to feel you're in the party, and I feel like it takes skill to shoot dance floors in a way that brings energy.
It really does.
But anyway, that's what I noticed.
I had a couple more things to add. So one of the things that I think is, I mean, we talked about the priest audio. So one of the things I want to say on that is that I wouldn't include it because I think that it automatically just downgrades it's not like, oh, that part was bad. It makes somebody think less of your film overall. And so I think that's something that you need to be careful with. And that's like why I would not have included it. Okay. Beyond that, I want to talk about the use of slow motion. So I know that you're shooting on the Blackmagic. I think that there's a lot of slow motion in here that is not intentional. Like I have no issue with slow motion. I don't really use it. But it should be intentional. And I think there's a lot of things that did not need to be slowed down.
Let me step you in there. One thing with this Blackmagic. One thing with the Blackmagic cameras, Bobby, is if you don't shoot 60 FPS for your project frame rate and then your off-speed frame rate, it will automatically record slow-mo.
Okay.
So if you
can't.
So basically you need to set it up in a way that's maybe not intuitive to people. And I've seen a lot of people like pick up the Blackmagic and they're like, I'm going to shoot HFR, which is high frame rate.
Yeah.
They click the button and then they go to edit and all your footage is in slow-mo.
Okay. Yeah. Cause it automatically does it. So maybe that's the case. And then it's, it is what it is. But yeah, I just think there is a lot I don't know, I don't know, just some of I'm trying to think of shots, but I can't really think of it. But there's definitely some that I just think it could be in real time. You're steady. You're on a tripod maybe or something like that. It doesn't really need to be slow mo.
Well, dance floor footage too you get some life to it when it
brings
speeds
some
up.
life. Yeah. And then I would look at what you are doing. I definitely noticed some handheld stuff with the couple. It seemed handheld. Now I know it's rain and that's a whole monster to tackle, but it did seem like I could see some jitter and stuff. So I don't know if that's something you can fix in editing a little bit, or if it has to do really more with your rig and your build and is it stable? Is it, well weighted and the distribution of weight is good and stuff like that. But.
Yeah. I feel like you needed a little more weight or a little rig. And Lemos, I wasn't saying don't use the high frame rate. I was saying just so Bobby had context of.
Yeah, because Jason and them shoot on the Blackmagic a lot. I briefly have used one, but not that much. So it's
This
possible.
is my favorite shot of the film, by the way.
Ooh.
I like this shot.
what he's saying is that it's possible that it was shot HFR, so he didn't really have the option
of speeding it up,
of,
or he just wasn't familiar
with
it and how to do it, or it's not like shooting on most cameras where you shoot 60 and then you just conform it.
Yeah.
It's actually.
And then I think there is some white balance stuff here. I think one step that it's Daniel, right?
Yes, Daniel.
That Daniel could take is a little bit more in the color grade of giving like a look and a uniformity to everything.
Well, he's shooting. I would love to know, Daniel, if you shot B-RAW or if you shot ProRes. If you're shooting B-RAW, there's really no excuse for ever having a white balance that's off.
Yeah.
And I would say that's why you shoot B-RAW. That's the whole point.
That's the purpose.
So, but even though your white balances aren't so off that you couldn't have fixed all of them.
No, exactly. They're not, even if it was in ProRes, they're not like terrible. There's nothing like, I'm not like, oh, whoa, this is like way wrong. It's just like, this is like, there is like a threshold, right? Where it's like, hey, this is maybe too cool for my taste, but like still acceptable. And
yeah, I think he's warm. A little over that.
But you're like places. You're a little beyond it in some places.
A little too blue. A little too blue in a few areas. And
so yeah, it was shot B-RAW, he said.
I would just get in there, open up that raw file, warm them up a little bit, try to get a consistent look throughout your film. Definitely
just pay attention to those skin tones, I think, is the big thing.
Worth the time. So,
but I mean, again, like, man, think about the first films we've seen.
Yeah,
like this holds up.
There's a lot of good work in there, and I would say I'm excited to see more of his work.
Yeah, I agree.
Please keep submitting. Bobby, films like this make me think about like the differences that a camera has on your work. Because when you look at like people who are shooting Blackmagic, because it doesn't have autofocus, because it doesn't have.
Yeah, there's a lot of creature comforts that are missing.
It makes a different film.
Yep.
It really does versus a Sony shooter. I would say, a Canon shooter, like every film, I think there's some similarities once you move into has IBIS, has a autofocus, and the autofocus is usable and good. But I love the way Blackmagic, it just forces you to shoot in a different way. I love, that's why I like shooting Blackmagic, because it literally kicks your butt.
Yeah, it demands a different type of filmmaker behind it.
Yep, and it creates like these different films that it's just really interesting to me. So,
yeah.
So anyway, let's watch another film. This next film is from our good friend Max Smith from Kenneth Kevin Media, and I wanted to say Max is going to come on the podcast. We were hanging out in Vision Quest, Bobby, with Max a lot. It was a lot of fun.
I'm jealous. I was not there.
Yeah, it was great. And we're hanging out and we're talking, and he's telling me about all the success they've had since they've started. And so we're going to have Max on the podcast, which we're going to be starting the podcast back up. New season coming up in, let's see. We're recording next Wednesday. What is the 12th? Is the 12th a Tuesday?
Yeah, I can check.
Yeah, we might go to Wednesday releases, by the way. Team, what do you guys think? Wednesday or Tuesday releases for episodes? What's better? You guys can vote. So we had a question, Bobby. Benjamin Kelly says, what do you do when the way a film is turning out in the edit isn't working because the content you have from the day doesn't seem to connect well, i.e. solo shooter situation? So can I get a little more clarity, Benjamin, what you mean? And let me just ask a clarifying question. So, do you mean that the content you didn't shoot well, or you feel like the way that you shot isn't working with either the couple or the edit you want to make? So I'd love to hear that.
Maybe clarify
the question. But anyway, as I was saying, Max Smith from Kenneth Kevin Media, we're going to watch one of his films, but he's also going to come on the show. What I love is I think he's going to relate with a lot of you guys. If you're out there who are newer and starting out, and he's gone from like nothing to like over 30 weddings in almost no time. Basically one season. And his films are great too. He's a great filmmaker.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to have Max on. And I can tell you guys, we actually are going to be having Alex and Whitney Douglas from Sculpting with Time as our first episode of the new season. We couldn't be more excited about that one, Bobby.
What a way to kick it off.
Yeah, we got Stanton Giles coming on this season.
Heck yeah.
We got who else do we got coming on? I'll give you guys some. We got Aaron Tharp from 31 Films coming on.
Some insider info.
Yeah, we got I got another person who's.
And you guys can find that podcast. We do release it on YouTube currently. And then you can also find it on Spotify and also on, what is it, like Apple Podcasts or whatever it's called.
It's on like a ton
basically
of
wherever.
platforms.
Yeah.
So, but we got a bunch of good people coming up.
And we'd love to know too, like, hey guys in the chat, like that, like, me, myself, Jason, Jared, like we're kind of doing what we think works. But if there are guests that you really want to see, or there are topics that you really want covered, like we really like what we can do with the podcast and just really diving deep into topics that are really hard to make like a YouTube video about, right? Because they're tough topics, and we like that. We like tackling those. So let us know always.
Oh, we also got Josh Helton from A Little Long Distance coming on.
Ooh.
We got Eric Floberg coming on.
Nice.
We're gonna have some people come back on.
We've had Henry, right? Somebody said
we've
Brothers
had
Martins.
Henry
We've had
on.
Henry
I've
on.
had Henry on twice.
Maybe we'll have him again.
We'll have Henry on
We
again.
love Henry.
Do you want to hear it? I'll tell everyone a funny Henry Martin story. So Henry and I are in Austin, and Henry's like, Jason, I had a vision. It's like I had a vision of Jason McCutcheon and I driving through Austin on scooters, listening to Bach.
All you need.
And so he's like, hey, so that's what we did. And
was it amazing?
It was amazing. We had a great time. I mean, Henry is a very good friend of mine. I really love that guy, and so we'll have him on again. And but we had a lot of fun. And like I will say this, like one of the things we're going to talk about with Alex and Whitney is community building and friendships. And actually, I'll give you guys some more insider information. I'm going to drop it right here. We're going to be doing more of these wedding film speakeasies around the country, which are just basically private parties for wedding filmmakers. We got one in Vegas in February. We're doing one with Josh from A Little Long Distance in Nashville, which I'm not sure when. And we're going to be doing one in New York City in the next couple months as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Basically private little parties and for wedding filmmakers. And so if you're interested in attending a wedding film speakeasy and you're in the Nashville area or in Vegas or you're in New York City and you want to just come hang out with other wedding filmmakers as well as like maybe a couple people who might share a little bit, then yeah, let us know. Hit us up. And we're excited. They're going to be kind of just drops. We're going to tell you guys, hey, we're doing a speakeasy. Grab a ticket. And the tickets will be limited because we pay for everything. So,
yeah. So yeah, well, there's a cap.
There's a cap. So, all right. So you want to watch a film?
Yeah, let's do it. And yeah, hey, Caitlin, I like that idea, more directing couples. We haven't really done a whole lot of that on the channel. We would probably do that. I mean, there are definitely people like guests that we would bring on that we would love to talk about that with because it's something they excel in. But maybe that's something, Jay, we could think about doing as like a standalone video too on the channel.
I love sunset sessions.
Yeah.
So like, I one time, actually a couple times with my team, I've just shown up just to shoot sunset and then I leave.
Dude, that's like, I want that job.
Yes, you do. All right, Here we go. Let's watch a film. This is Max. He says, locations were amazing. They were amazing. This film is really good, by the way. Couple is amazing. It was hard to catch the rhythm of the day. Preparation of the couple's house went well, but the bride was late and the photographer left too late. I want a second camera, but I didn't have time. So there were some audio connection issues. So yeah, I mean, we've all been there, man. You go to a Catholic church, you can't hook up. Oh wait,
I
no,
love that. Oh,
no, this is not him. I read someone else's film. He did not have these issues.
No.
He said this was great. Biggest challenge was finding the right white balance during ceremony and reception. Super tungsten. And so this was the warm church thing. Audio was clipped in a few parts, which is a bummer. Not horrible. And the edit is dope. He charged.
Well, if you see the title.
Yeah, he
One
charged
of the most epic
$40,000 for this film. No. Client purchased, let's see, 5 to 6 minute film. And he didn't put the price. Maybe his prices are listed over here. Either way, my guess is it's probably, if Max is here, my guess would be it's, I don't know, $4,000. So here's, without further ado, let's watch Max's incredible film.
I like that color right off the bat.
Leo has the kindest heart of anybody I know. The first day we met was at the beach.
I want to know what the audio is for this.
I was immediately blown away by her, like when she lifted up her sunglasses and I could see her beautiful eyes.
And I remember just like thinking, who's this like
Oh,
tall,
I see it.
kinda
Never mind.
skinny European guy? He had the prettiest eyes. He's so kind. He's so loving.
That dude is cool. And that's
Yeah.
a super cool couch.
He taught me how to really express my love and meet someone halfway, always on things.
I love about
I'm going to go back, Bobby, because I had a quick question that has nothing. It's not a critique. It's just a question of your personal feelings on something. How do you feel?
Is it on the couch?
Yes. How do you feel about when you can see that much lens distortion?
So, okay, here's the thing. I don't really mind lens distortion that much. I shoot really wide. I shoot on I have another camera with a 55. Like my main setup throughout the day, 85% of the day is 55 on one camera and then a 16 to 35. So I actually don't mind lens distortion that much. What I don't like about this is that it's slightly offset to the right. That's what bugs me more.
Yes, I would agree. And I would say I might fix that in post because I think the straight lines are critical to the composition.
Yeah.
So I would probably fix that a little and crop in and fix a couple things just because it's like, that's the whole vibe.
The whole thing is like this, like straight, like
the Wes Anderson
perfectly,
thing.
Exactly. Yep.
So
And
I'd
it's just,
probably
like,
straighten that
slightly
out.
off, but yeah.
When I say outside, I don't mind a little distortion. Actually, I feel like
Yeah.
it exaggerates the roundness of the earth. If you're doing
it lets you into more of the environment.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all.
Anyway,
He's taught me how to really express my love and meet someone halfway, always on things.
I love about her stubbornness. How she makes things come true, what she imagine. Whatever gets in her mind, she wants to have it. She's making it to go happen.
He's smart, he's cultured, he's sensitive, he's funny. He's so funny, he makes me laugh. Even in his
So
German
funny, it makes you
accent
laugh.
all the time.
Just like her happiness, whenever she's around, she's like giggling and like having fun at the same time of like kind of being laser focused on one thing and then also having a lot of fun.
I feel like the interviews are lit really
has
nice.
this ability to
Yeah.
keep everything
Especially the
together
guys.
under one roof, like work, family life.
I just feel like so safe and so secure with him. And I know that he makes me the best version of myself, and I think I do the same for him. And that's really all you can ask for in a team together.
And then obviously her natural beauty, I can wake up to her and I'm like immediately drawn to her and like obviously her character, but then also her like outside look. It's just blows me away every day I wake up next to her.
That's
I'm
cool.
most excited for the day when she's walking down the
it's a good
aisle.
transition.
And I'm gonna see her in a full beauty, and I know my heart is gonna like go crazy, and I'm gonna sit there and just like stand there and wait until I can take her hand, walk her up the altar, and
I really like
just
that
be in a
shot.
spiritual like moment where we get married by
Oh,
the church.
intentionally
and,
out of focus?
meet
We
up
talked
my
about that a
whole
lot
family and
last
my
week.
friends and her family and her friends, and it's gonna be amazing.
I'm nervous, excited.
Okay, let's talk about this thing. Because there's nothing wrong with this shot, but
The dress?
just dress shots in general. Isn't it funny that this is what I do? The first thing I shoot every wedding is a dress shot.
Yeah, it's probably like within the first 5. Like it's either that or the other details.
Yeah,
And
just
then if-
to get it out of the way for me. Because
I like the dress shot.
I do like the dress shot, but in general, like I do find it absurd.
Yeah, I mean the concept of it when you like, but I mean you could say that for almost any part of a wedding, honestly.
I don't know, like a lot of it's an actual thing happening. Like
Yeah, but also a lot of it is like so like it's like weird like tradition based in like I don't know some
the Nordic,
weird, like yeah exactly like some weird like patriarchal system. I don't know like
this means that you own your wife.
yeah exactly. But I get what you're saying, but I also like dress shots, so I don't know.
I like them. But this is what I was gonna say. It's interesting. First of all, the first thing I'm looking for when I walk in a room is where can I hang this thing?
Oh, 100. That's like not even when I walk in the room. It's when I walk in the door of like the hotel they're in.
Yeah,
it's like, could these chandeliers support a dress?
You're like walking around the room, like
tugging,
tucking on stuff and
well, hey,
grabbing your fingers like this.
Pro tip, actually, and I've got a video that I have a script written up for of like these random things that you should bring with you to a wedding. One of them that I bring when I remember it is a command hook, one of those 3M sticky command hooks. Dude, you can hang it anywhere you want. Then it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I would say the other thing I like is just even like a clamp.
Hey, Benjamin Kelly knows what's up.
Yeah, a super clamp or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's funny when you walk in and you're like, where can I hang this random stranger's dress?
Oh, yeah.
And then you're immediately just handling it.
Yeah.
And then the bride's like, do you want any help? It's like, listen, lady, I'm good.
I have touched so many more dresses than you have. Don't even try with me right now.
I am an expert. It's one of the things when I think about, like, when I was a 13-year-old boy and I was thinking about my life, the last thing I'm like, I got a lot of, filmmaker, yes. Artist, yes. Musician, yes. Expert of holding and hanging wedding dresses. How
about just expert at everything weddings? Like the amount of wedding knowledge that we have as guys in our, 30s or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Right?
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is when you're going to cut the cake. Oh, you don't want to stand like that. You want to stand like this. Oh.
Yeah.
Last thing I'm going to randomly say, how few couples actually smash cake in each other's faces?
Oh, I would say I'll bet 1 out of 10 for me.
Oh, man, I cannot remember the last couple that smashed cake in each other's faces.
I think I've had more like in the last 2 years.
Crazy.
That's why I'm remembering that.
It's funny. Anyway, moving on. I like this shot, by the way. It's nice. It has nice little square
I like
lines.
that painting.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish it wasn't there, but he can't do anything about it.
I like it.
No, I love the painting. I don't like it in the shot because it makes it look left heavy, but I don't know what they can really do about it. So
yeah,
I wonder about putting it further down the hall, though.
Yeah, that lighting though is gonna be rough.
I know, but you could I don't know. Anyhow,
you could do something cool, but
maybe.
It would, yeah,
Not that time of day, probably.
Moving on.
I'm nervous, excited.
It was backlit?
Ready. It's been a long road to get here.
Good details.
I think we're just ready to have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrate, finally. We've been through
I like
both
that
of us
shot.
a lot in the past couple of years. And I think we're all just ready to have something fun and exciting to look forward to with our friends and family.
How do you feel about someone like the extreme handheld he's including?
I'm going to talk about it later.
Okay.
What I'm most excited about for today is being really surrounded by all of our friends and family, and I want to find those little moments with him too where we can sneak away and just kind of take it all in, because it's a big day, but I don't want to let it go by too fast.
I know everything's gonna be perfect, no matter if there's something maybe gone wrong in the planning, but as long as Marissa and I are getting married, I'm the happiest man in the world today.
His interview setup is really interesting.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
I am so honored to stand here in this holy basilica and to bless your marriage. You came from Toledo and from Germany, from Detroit, from all over the world to say amen. Amen for a new family. Amen to a new, wonderful relationship. May the Lord walk with you. May you bless one another. May you desire to always please one another in the name of the Lord. Leo, I don't know how to say in Germany because you're bright, but you can do that.
This shot I'm so into this year.
Yeah.
I shoot this in every wedding. I try to.
I don't because I'm bad, but
I try to get people, but like this, I love when you're like, it should be more in more wedding films. Everyone raising a glass with a gimbal move. It's just such a great shot.
It also fits this wedding really well.
Big time.
It fits the music and them, and it just it works.
Yeah. It's like an actual moment, and it's festive, and it actually brings their family into the film. Love it. This is my favorite shot in the film. Even if I don't even care if it's the best shot, it's my favorite.
But you can do that.
He doesn't suck at all. He does not suck.
I agree with that statement.
He does not suck at wedding films. I'll tell you that. That's the feedback I'm going to give you in your films.
All right, moving on. We tackled it.
Great. Moving on. Next film. No, I'm just kidding. So I think there's
font needs to be smaller.
So let's talk about the interview. Let's break this down a little differently. Let's talk.
I actually want Max. I think, is Max in here?
I don't think Max is here.
I did see him comment once. He said it's shot 4K, or no, it was for 4,000.
Okay.
So I think he is here.
Max, write the words
Hopefully.
banana sandwich. If you can hear me. So we're gonna ask him a question.
Yeah, so I want to know, and I actually think it would be really helpful for the people that are in here, because I don't know about you, I don't do these interviews, right? I want to know like the thought behind it. Like, how do you prep your couples? Like, do you tell them like, hey, I want 10 minutes with each of you to start the day or whatever? And what are you asking them? Like, I find that really interesting because you didn't really use any other audio.
Yeah,
so
I'm curious about like the planning behind like,
is that just like, hey, guaranteed I'm gonna have stuff to work off of if all the audio sucks?
Yeah, and was that like done in prep? If you said like, hey, we're gonna do X, Y, Z, and we're gonna do an interview, was that like established with the couple? As he's answering that, I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you feel like an interview like that as a narrative device in one of these films is like one of the number one narrative devices, like the primary way of moving the film forward? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, okay, here's my thoughts on that. Like, it worked really well. I would really I don't mind it being the primary thing, but I would like to see other elements to it, to the audio side. That's kind of where I'm at.
My opinion is, so if you go watch like Alex and Whitney's films from Sculpting with Time, coming on the Wedding Film School show in 2 weeks. Max is coming on too, actually. So,
hey,
which will be a lot of fun. We were floating down the river, me and Max at Vision Quest, floating down the river in Austin the whole time, just hanging out. And me and Kyle were on there. There's a bunch of Wedding Film School people who went to Vision Quest. We had a blast in Austin. But anyway, my feeling on using that as a device in your film is, if you go see Alex and Whitney, I feel like they use it a little more sparingly and almost more abstractly. And I wonder if this was it's not bad. So I don't want to say like don't do this or do this, but my personal opinion is like a little less of like a linear kind of, and then I did this,
Yep.
and then I did this, and then I feel like I would have liked it better if it was just sprinkled in more of an abstract way, where it was more just giving me like like color commentary.
Yeah, like I really liked the first couple like sound bites I heard. I was like, whoa, this is like setting up something cool. But then it just kind of became this whole story, and I was like, I don't dislike it, but I'm just like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like a little more sparingly would have been nice.
Yeah, or just like more abstractly, almost just like some of the cute things they said without some of like, but at the same time,
linear. Yeah,
it's a way of doing things. I think a couple could probably really freaking love it. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and you're trying something new, or I mean, not like new, like not new to the industry. Like there are other people who do this, but I think new for you. So
I was definitely like into it for sure. In the interviews, like that lighting scenario right there.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't know what's on the right side, but I really love it.
Oh, it's so nice.
That shadow and like that line.
And you even got the nice little nose triangle.
Yep.
From the light hitting him in the right way. It's very flattering. His chin is really, I mean, I don't want to get light nerdy, but it looks like a real like lit interview almost. It's close.
Yep.
With no hair light.
Yeah.
It's awesome looking. So I'm into it. Oh yeah. I mean, Max, my opinion is like having some dead space. Do you want to hear my advanced theory on wedding filmmaking, Bobby?
Yes.
All right, here it is. So if you go watch Kurt Vonnegut talking about the shape of stories, he has this incredible, I'm telling you guys, this will change your wedding filmmaking. I'm going to find it. I'm going to post it in the thing. But he has this talk called The Shape of Stories. And he talks about basically this visual, and he's a great writer, but here it is. So I'm going to post this in there because I feel like this is essential watching for wedding filmmaking because it will help you become a real storyteller. Because this right here is actually what it's all about, which is creating narrative tension in your film. And what makes a film, when you watch really great filmmakers, if you hear like Alex and Whitney talk, one of the number one words they use that a lot of filmmakers don't use is they say surprise. I want to surprise you. I want to surprise you. I want the viewer to be surprised what comes next, which is tension, right? It's like you ever watch like a Christian movie? They suck because you know the ending. Right? And it's like that we have the same problem with wedding filmmaking, which is you know the ending. You know these people are going to live happily ever after. So what you have to do is introduce artificial tension in your films, either by getting a little silly or allowing space to sizzle and simulating like some kind of negative thing. But either way, like really great wedding filmmakers find a way to create tension and suspension and surprise you. And so I think when a film has no space, it doesn't create it doesn't manufacture the feeling of watching a real story. So that's my actual incredibly way overthought theory on why most wedding films suck and why some wedding films are incredible. And if go watch them, there's a darker element, there are horror elements, there are scary images, or there are crazy images, or like the best wedding filmmakers are creating drama by creating either some kind of tension element. They're not just like shh like that. So anyway, moving on. What did you think about the handheld stuff?
Yeah, so okay, one of the things that I love about this film is it feels so raw, and part of that is due to the handheld element. I think it like attaches you to the film. It makes you feel like you were there almost. And I like that. But I will say that here's how I would say. I hate shaky cameras. And so there's a part of me that acknowledges that in yours, because there are a lot of, there is a lot of camera shake. But there's also a part of me that almost likes it. like, or is like okay with it, or like accepts it, if that makes sense. I'm not sure how to exactly say it. So I love the rawness that it adds to it in combination with, you know, your storytelling and your audio and stuff like that. And it's not all crazy camera shake. But there is a part of me too that's like, there's just like, it's a little too much for me. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, so I was into it. I liked a lot of the handheld work. The only thing I didn't like is a couple spots where he was like doing these interviews, and I think it's towards the beginning. Some of the cutaways, like cuts from cam 1 to cam 2, the focal lengths were way too similar. Right here,
yeah, they're almost
here,
the same. Yeah,
and then you're here.
It's literally the same shot except from the other side. Yeah,
yeah, and I feel like when I do an interview with someone, especially if I'm gonna do 2 cams, I'm gonna do one that's gonna create intimacy, and one that's gonna give you a sense of place. And it's. I think,
but you also don't know, like, hey, we don't know the room, right? But if that were the case, then I would go with that first angle that's straight on.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't cut to it.
And then the side angle, yeah, either put something in between, or the side angle, like punch it in, make it just her like hands and, you know, like her lips down, or I don't know, whatever.
Okay, so I'm gonna point out something that I think you're ready to hear, Max, because you're a pretty good filmmaker. So the big thing that I notice is some of these shots need a little softness to them. Like right here, when I see a bride's pores, I immediately go, I can't show this bride's pores. Like that, women are sensitive to that type of thing, and you don't see pores, and like that's why they have airbrushing. You don't have a Pro Mist filter. If you had one, this would be a great chance to use one. A shot like this, that would
be a really cool side by side.
Yeah, that would soften her up. But I would probably soften this a little in post. It, like the second I saw the shot, I go, let me see her pores. Like I immediately noticed the pores. And I would say we're getting a little into the minutia of like filmmaking, but part of the thing is you're trying to make a woman feel beautiful. And if a woman gets a film and she goes like, ooh, I don't look my best, right? Or other women are gonna go, look at her pores. I don't know if I'm being too nitpicky there.
This is Jason talking about making women feel beautiful over smooth jazz on Wedding Film School Live.
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of our job as a wedding filmmaker, though.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think a little softness to something that is this detailed and close, like that is the focus. I think it's one thing where like, hey, you know, it's a wider shot and whatever, but like this is the focus is her eyes, and you're obviously getting a little bit more.
You could get it in post though. Max, do you have Film Convert? If you have Film Convert, I think the film softness in Film Convert does a pretty good job with just helping people's skin get a little smoother. Sharpness is the most overrated thing, guys. That's my opinion. Is like an image, you don't want to be out of focus, but a little bit like that is a emblematic of film. The film look is soft.
Yep.
And like film,
the digital look is
too sharp. I think, you know, is not something you want to go for. You want to go for perfectly in focus, of course, but you know, especially like that's the shaky. I'm into that. I'm
like so torn because I think it's me saying like, I know I hate shaky camera, so I must hate this. I'm required to. But then it's also me saying like, God, it just works. You know what I mean? So,
it just reminds you of him, like someone gunning and like seeing this person.
Yeah, it's just like, whoa, am I there on the rooftop or whatever?
Yeah, I'm down with it. I will say if you're going to shoot handheld like that, be just cognizant of your intentional composition.
I think it's risky. That's what I would say. I would be so worried if I was shooting that like handheld that I would leave that wedding and be like, oh my gosh, I hate all my footage.
Let's talk about another sequence here. I really love the way you use the church, and I love the way you use the audio during the churches, like the way your edits match the audio. I'm just gonna play this a little bit for you guys so you can hear it, because I think it's worth revisiting a little bit, which is how this audio just punches in. Like the movement of that to the movement of the shot.
To stand here in this holy basilica.
And the space in his talking too.
Boom.
Whether it was built in or that's just the way he talked. It works really well.
I love the shoom, you know,
Yeah.
the drum dropping and then the gimbal.
Bless you, Mary.
You got to be painting with audio and
from
with video.
Germany, from Detroit, from
Right
all
there.
over the world to say Amen. Amen for a new family. Amen.
I'm gonna tell you one thing with that vortex shot though. My opinion is you should have speed ramped it to go with that drum, like one of those. I was wanting it to see like it move with the music a little more, but I was into it.
Amen for a new
Yeah, I still
family.
like it. I love when people are just
Amen
pushing
to a
boundaries
new,
and stuff. I'm about
wonderful
it.
relationship.
Me too.
May the Lord walk with you. May you bless one another. May
The
you
lighting at
dissolve
this ceremony is so interesting to me.
All right, wait, go back. I have a comment. One of the 3 things I wrote down. If you go back to that first dancing shot,
Yes.
this one,
Mhm.
I love the backlight. I love using them to block the light. I would love to see, I don't know what light you're using. I don't know what settings you're using. I would love to see that be more of a, what is it? Like a star or whatever.
A better flare.
Yeah, a better flare. And then also, it looks like that's the only light you're running. I would have really liked, like this shot, I think would be a lot better with a little bit of fill light hitting their face or like hitting his face kind of.
I always say, like, when you're doing anything, shoot shadow side, but it's fine to do that, especially when you're creating creative shots. Like, you can do whatever you want. But in general, it's nice to see, like, the light wrapping a little on their face.
Exactly. I don't mind it being the back. Like, I do that shot too, but I have another light that's like that. You know, if this were me right here, I'd have another light that's camera right and behind me and getting a little bit of his, just to like, even if it's just a little bit, just to be like, oh, like this just looks like, and it gets even darker too, and it just looks like underexposed.
The shadows are falling apart a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
The shadows are breaking up. It would have been nice.
Another light would be
But what's interesting is, like, I feel like the light later on, it looks kind of cinematic of them, like lifting her and all that. I'm interested, like,
dude. It doesn't matter how broke you are. Just get like like if you got your main light, just get a second light. It doesn't matter, right? You know, like get the Godox SL60W. I have one of
Nan
those,
light,
like
bro.
$50. Oh,
The
Nan light,
Forza?
dude, that thing was sick.
Forza?
I don't even need a light, and I want to buy that after I saw it in WPPI.
So cheap.
It's like $320 or something. That's like nothing for what it does.
Blow your face off.
Yeah, it's stronger than the Practilite, right?
Yeah, this light right here.
I need that. Flashlight, love it.
This thing is
yeah,
$90.
Yeah, just anything for just a little extra. Hey, okay, so we can keep going here, but we did get a question, and it might be worth talking about here because we may or may not have a video coming out. It's hard to say, but Benjamin Kelly asks, Pro Mist, as far as mist filters, Pro Mist, Cinebloom, or Polar Pro Peter McKinnon variable VND. Variable ND.
I'm a little bit biased because we are currently working on a review.
Yeah, I don't have mine up here. It's in my backpack.
We got, let's see, we got the
the Polar Pros.
that's out of focus. The Mist Edition and the Signature Edition, and we're going to be comparing the Peter McKinnon Mist Editions versus the non-Mist Editions and what's right for you. I will say I'm a big fan so far of. Have you guys seen this thing? Have you guys seen this Peter McKinnon variable ND with Mist built in? If you haven't
It's pretty
seen
sick.
It's pretty great. It has like this built-in handle thing. It's really nice looking. But yeah, we're doing that, and I would say Pro Mist is pretty standard, and there's definitely it's great. Definitely, I've used that, and I would never say anything negative about Pro Mist. The only thing you got to keep in mind with some of those that don't, this one has like clickable stops on your VND. If you want an ND as well as Mist, is this the only one that does Mist and ND?
This, I believe, is the only one that's a combined one. Yeah,
it's pretty incredible. I like Pro Mist. I don't just use Pro Mist because we're mentioning Pro Mist. But I will say, a lot of very high-end filmmakers use Mist. A like a quarter stop or less, an eighth stop, because it just softens people's skin tones and it makes people look more luxurious. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
Yeah,
video incoming.
Yeah, video incoming. We're so far pretty big fans of this. And I would say, yeah, you can stack them. In my opinion, if I was planning on stacking them, though, I would just get one of these. And I would buy it directly from Wedding Film School by clicking on our affiliate link.
Which does not exist yet. So
Not
wait
yet,
for
so
our
we
video
got-
to come out.
In about a week and a half,
But
you can
hey,
buy
guys,
one.
I will say here, like, just like I feel like we usually say this in every video, like we like they did send us these videos, but we like legit will say that they are bad if they're bad. Like we have some other stuff where we're like, I don't know, I can't say anything good. Like, not that I can't say anything good, right? But like I'm like, hey, I need to say this. Like this is a drawback. I need to say it. So we try to be.
And
really
I'll tell
honest.
you, I like this. And so these they sent us for free, the missed editions.
Yeah.
This I bought because I like these.
Yeah.
So
you know.
Actually, I'll give you our basic review. This is what I do. I have to use, and we should probably say this in our reviews. I am not going to review anything I've never used at a wedding.
Yep.
Like
we literally
if I
have
haven't
people,
used
like,
it at a wedding.
Yeah, we have people who have like sent us stuff who are like, hey, where's that video? And we're like, we haven't used it yet at a wedding. We're not reviewing it until we do.
Yeah, we're not going to be like, there are plenty of people who review things. They get it. They use it a little bit. We're wedding
They
filmmakers.
use it at home.
Yeah. We're wedding filmmakers. So we want to review things based on how does it work.
We
at
are
a wedding.
literally risking our weddings for you guys.
Yes. So I was going to say, yeah, it's coming up and so far so good. The last thing I was going to say before we move on to the next film is if you could drop a like, that helps us a lot.
We would love it.
We would love it if you guys could drop a like on this video. We also have released a couple videos on the channel. And if you like us and you're into what we do, I would love it if you would share these films with your friends. Let people know what's going on at Wedding Film School. I hope you guys would see, like, Wedding Film School is back. We're really trying to bring value to the community. And we want to add
Or honestly, like, when you watch, if you're watching our videos, which we hope you are, leave a comment. Like, honestly, like, it's so dumb that we even like have to add, but like YouTube loves that stuff, right? The algorithm loves that stuff, like likes and comments. It is what it is. You got to play by the rules, right? So yeah, we would appreciate that. And if you guys really want to support the channel, become a member. Members get priority access to having their films reviewed. You also get into a private Facebook group, so you have a little bit more direct access to us. And it's just, we do have different tiers, but the base tier is just $5 a month. So
members are also going to get first access to wedding film speakeasies and different live events coming up.
Yeah, we're going to kind of revamp that membership program anyway. But we actually, so Caitlin actually joined at the beginning of this chat. So many thanks to you, Caitlin. We appreciate that. Benjamin, to answer your question, the Zoom adapters, my one true love, I believe are discontinued. I don't know what happened. Zoom was their own brand. Then Manfrotto bought them. And then I ordered because I dropped in one of the BTS films of ours, the California destination one. You see me walk up to my camera, which was on the ground off of a tripod. I didn't know what happened, and my Zoom adapter broke. And I ordered a new one. It was like back ordered, whatever. It kept telling me, oh, it's going to be a couple more weeks, whatever. It got to like 12 weeks, and then they just canceled it. So I think they're discontinued. It's very sad. I feel like there's another company that makes something similar though.
Oh, geez.
So,
I'm going to find, they messaged me the other day, actually.
Zoom did?
No, not Zoom. The other company. They're like Fuel something or.
Yeah, I don't care, man. As long as it's like magnetic and works, I love that. Freewell, yes. Okay, you're right. Yeah. Because I know I'd seen something. So yeah, I think there are other options. We do not endorse Freewell. We haven't used them, but if the concept is the same, yeah, it's pretty nifty little, and like it's cheap. It's like what, $12 for like the lens side and like $18 for the camera side. I feel like it was like around $30 all in.
I'll say this. These Peter McKinnons are not cheap, and I have used ND filters that have ruined my shots before.
Oh yeah, these look great.
I do not screw around with ND filters and color shift. Getting cheap I would never recommend anyone get anything cheap that goes over their glass. It's so stupid, actually. It's
Yep.
like
I literally bought cheap ND filters and it just like ruined a bunch of shots once, and I was like, well,
yeah,
that's what I get.
You buy like a $1,500 lens and then you put like $20 of glass in front of it.
Glass.
It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I don't recommend it, and I would never do it. I pretty much will only buy expensive filters for my camera because I think it matters a lot. So let's watch this last film.
Expensive. So
yeah, no, they're fine. It's worth it. So
yeah, those ones are. I think it's what 2 to 5, and then there's another one that's 6 to 9.
yeah, we have both
Stops,
2 to 5,
yeah.
6 to, and then I think we have a quarter stop indie or of mist.
Missed, yeah.
Or no, I think it's an eighth of stop of mist.
We don't know. It doesn't say on there. We need to look it up.
It might say on there.
No, I looked.
2 to 5 stops. Oh, that's
It just says the ND.
beginning of my review. Should have that listed.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's watch our final film tonight. This is from
Another foreign language film.
Yes, this one has subtitles though. This is Pedro Giammotta, and this is interesting. He says, it's been a little over a year since I started filming weddings. I made 2 or 3 music videos, and this is my first attempt at a wedding.
Whoa, 2 first weddings in one.
Not having any kind of experience in filming weddings, I had to see some videos on YouTube, and since I don't know anyone in the business, I couldn't get a job as a second videographer just to get some routine. So I basically, it's first wedding, alone without any help. Okay, like that's crazy.
Dang.
I was hard to catch the rhythm of the day. By the way, this person's correct in what they're assessing as the actual hardest part. So I think that's the first win for this person. Understanding the rhythm of the day is the hardest part. It is. It's the hardest part. The preparation of the couple's house went well, but the bride was late and the photographer left late. I wanted to set up second camera ceremony. Didn't have time. I wanted to have my Zoom H5, but it didn't have time. Like, this is exactly the reason why you should be an assistant or a second shooter, because this timing stuff is challenging. I didn't have almost any time alone with the couple, maybe 20 minutes. That's actually a ton of time. I usually have 5 minutes with the couple or 0 minutes alone. I would say if I had to point out the biggest difficulty during the day was the white balance. Many different scenarios, very fast. Any tips? Yes, I do have tips. And yes, I agree your white balance has some challenges. Camera was A7C. Lens was Tamron's 28-7 2.8. DJI RS2. He went big with his gimbal. Audio Rode Wireless Go 2. He has the Freewell V&D mist filter. So you
we're talking about the adapter, but sure.
Leeming LUT for correction, and then made some adjustments. So I will say this: it's obvious he knows about wedding filmmaking, or about filmmaking and shooting, and so there's some skills inherent in this person. But let's see how they do with wedding films. I also noticed, by the way, with the upload on this, it seems like there's a little bit of an issue with the upload. It's a little on the lower quality side, so we got to be a little understanding of that. But let's watch the film. This person's company name is Pedro Giammotta Film. I don't think, no website yet, so very new. So first film, let's watch the film. All right.
Quando encontrares alguém e esse alguém te fizer parar de funcionar o teu coração por alguns segundos, presta atenção. Pode ser a pessoa mais importante da tua vida.
Susana, minha deusa, se um dia metemos a questão se nos apaixonávamos, hoje estamos aqui a casar. E realizaste um dos maiores sonhos da minha vida, o de ser pai. Deste-me amor e o amor das nossas vidas, o nosso P, por quem damos tudo e fazemos tudo.
És a minha força, a minha paz, a minha tranquilidade. O meu cúmplice para o resto dos nossos dias. Amo-te mais que ontem e menos que amanhã.
That wobble.
Whoa, no, the audio transition. It's like a...
Oh, so that. I was thinking that wobble.
Listen to this. It's pretty rough. I would say definitely you do not want dissonant tones like this, which are just songs and totally like wrong keys overlapping each other, because it sounds... This is a horror element, but a bad way of introducing it. I don't mean this when I'm talking about adding tension to your film.
The Clash.
Yeah. It's dissonant. Can I talk about something that I'm a little nerdy about with wedding filmmaking? Do you ever use the key filter in MusicBed?
I have, but here's the thing, guys. Before Jason goes on, know that he is a musician.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So my light died. I'll fix it during the break. But I will say, like, that is a big deal to me. But even if you don't know, just understanding that songs should sound good together is a big deal. Like, you don't want songs that are just clashing and the keys are totally off, and some keys just don't work together. And if you're like, you don't have to be a musician to know, like, that's dissonant. So I would encourage you.
Even if you don't know like how to explain it, you can just feel it.
You can just feel it. But there is a key tool for those of you that want to get into that stuff. You can search by songs by key, and
which is cool.
Things.
I love that
really
feature.
Cool.
One more reason why MusicBed is the best. And if you aren't using MusicBed and you want to, I swear to God, this was unplanned. I think in the description of our live streams, but definitely our other videos, you can get like a month free or 2 months free or something like that. So
I think it's a month free right now.
Yeah, something like that. Click the link, get a month free of MusicBed, which is, I mean, I don't know. It's the best, hands down.
It's the best. All right, let's keep going.
Over and under, covered in light. Sun sets the sky on fire behind. Something unfolding. It's good and it's right. I give it all just to have you tonight. When you say you're in love,
That's cool.
makes me come undone. Something perfectly wild, spinning round like a child. Oh, in all that you are good for my heart. Something rare, something strong, stands against all the odds. Love that blooms in the dark. You are good for my heart.
It's a pretty song. This is, I keep noticing this, right, in shots like this, but there is a hyper saturation happening.
Yeah.
In some of these shots that I would just...
it's not like, it's weird. It's like, it's over the top for me, but it's not like we've had some films where we're like, whoa, this looks like Alien-esque. It's not quite there, but it's too extreme for me.
It looks too extreme to me. I would just say...
And it's only some shots.
Definitely white balance, but definitely my opinion is that it's a little too saturated as to come across as like kind of plasticky and cartoonish.
Yeah.
So
not every shot though.
No, it's just something like this right here where like there's I don't know.
Yeah.
I also don't even like this shot. I think this is not a good shot. I wouldn't include this. Anyway. Actually, so the white balance, he asked for tips. Bobby, this is my opinion of these situations. Right here, you got a combination white balance because you have the sun, right? Which you can kind of see. It's not super present.
Yeah.
But it's a little more present over here. You look in the leaves.
Yep.
And then you have the shadow. I always white balance for my shadows. And because if the sun looks extra orange, I don't think people really care that much.
Nope. I would almost opt for it looking a little more orange. And I would also say, I don't necessarily always white balance for my shadows. I think there are times outside of that, but where the focus of my shot
that's what I
is
mean
entirely in the shadows, that's where your white balance should be.
I want my white balance. I don't mind if my orange or my sun looks a little too orange.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't want my subject, who's probably in the shadow, the 90% of the time, if you're shooting
To look blue.
you don't want people to look blue, and like this makes it feel cold, and it's a nice day. You want to heighten that sense of it was a nice day. And this is the other reason why your saturation being a little over the top matters.
It magnifies it.
It magnifies a bad white balance. So moving on. That's a very advanced pose. And for a person who's new, I wish
there's a lot of the, like, I don't think this, like, there are problems in this film, but it does not look like a first film to me.
No, it's I mean, that shot I would have liked to be in slow-mo, to be honest. And I don't love the gimbal move. It kind of is sweeping up and then in, like that to me looks.
It's two different moves.
But but the pose and is nice. But again, too blue in the shadows. Weird, actually. Look how orange the sun is.
Yeah.
Huh.
I wonder if they just went a little overboard in color grading and I don't know. I've been there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nothing compares to feeling at home. The look in your eyes bringing peace to my soul. Something magnetic, wholesome and true. Of all the gifts I've been given, my favorite is you. When you say your love.
I wonder if he didn't take his V&D off inside.
It's possible.
Your shadows are crunchy, man.
Yeah. Hey, the other thing though is that it just could be like a lack of experience in like post, like color grading. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure. But I would just say, but it looks like I can see the mist.
Yeah.
And I would say I wouldn't. I would probably take it off.
This is also in like a smoke storm thing.
Yeah, I would probably.
For whatever that's worth.
I don't know. There's something up with the blacks in this film. It could just be the upload or the export.
You probably see it better than I though too. Also.
Makes me come undone.
So we're going to be skipping around, by the way, with this film in a little bit because
it's a longer film.
It's very long.
Casar com a Susana Cristina. Ferreira Vidal, Jesus Brito.
But I wanted to play this part. Yeah, I wanted to play this part because there's some audio issues here.
Yeah, there's some echo, and it's an on-camera source, it seems like.
Yeah, I would say just trying to get a direct feed from that DJ man would really help you as a filmmaker, Pedro. And I would also encourage you, man, this is a really tough scenario. I would like to see the wide shot here.
I don't even know what I would do.
I would like to see the wide shot here because if it was like all shadow behind them as well, I would probably shoot a couple shots of their back.
Yeah.
I might also shoot, given I would have 2 cameras, so you might not have that, but I would probably.
I would have every single camera that I own running because of how tough this scenario would be.
And then I would say, please don't get married under that.
Yeah.
You know.
Can we turn you 90 degrees?
This is tough. Anyway, let's imagine they couldn't do anything about the terrible combination exposure. The audio, you got to raise your game there because this is not acceptable. And I think you're going to need to, this is like the first thing you got to figure out a way to solve as a wedding filmmaker.
And it's like very easy solution and instant upgrade.
Yep. So I'm going to skip around a little bit because we got a lot going on here. The film. So first I want to show you one thing, Bobby. I'm going to find the transition, but the film transitions to another song. All right, here we go. And it like really goes.
It ramps up.
What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done.
1, 2, 3, go! That was what I was trying to get.
here's what I would say. I don't mind like the song usage. Like it's the right time of the event for that. But we've talked about this before. The cuts just don't really match it.
Yeah, I think
you could really amp that up.
I don't think he has the footage for that song.
That's the thing. Is it's like a I want to use this without acknowledging like, oh shoot, I don't really have the energy in the.
I don't like the song personally. It's a little too much for me. Too much dance floor.
I could see it being like just dance floor, but I also don't think there should be this much dance floor. So it's like I'm very torn on that.
Yeah, this is so I'm gonna show you another thing. So we'll look at
also that wedding needs to be like just freaking like out of this world.
Yeah, we'll watch some of the dance floor stuff because I think you'll see. It's a lot of really long. It's kind of like me, like hanging on these cuts. But you can see like they're into clubbing, by the way.
Yeah, but this should be like this. If this took up 2 minutes, it should take up 20 seconds. Like it should be so much faster with the cuts.
Yeah, totally.
I like that smoke though. It's cool.
Do you see that? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Is that like in his clothes, or is that projected on him? The DJ. Oh yeah, it must be like a laser. Dude, do not get that laser in your lens.
Yeah, you're done for if you do.
You will be down a camera quicker than you can say, "Oh crap." Or what just happened? Okay, so I'm going to show you one more thing. And this is a really cool, it's too long, and so there's some clunkiness to it, but I'm into this filmmaker's instincts coming up. So I want to show you this. Love.
It's not love, it's loathe.
Loathe. What do we do to loathe?
Estou muito. Estás bem?
Estou nervosa. Porque me atrasei. Estás tão bonita, amor.
Mas tu já me tinhas visto.
Ter esta rosa.
Uhum.
Tens uma cadeira lá à frente.
Uhum.
Não chores. Tens uma cadeira lá à frente, tem uma placa. Não tremas.
Sim.
Deixas lá a rosa, tá bem? Chores.
So, couple things.
Obrigado.
In general, I liked the storytelling element. I think there's some things I would have cut out of there. Like, I'm nervous because I'm late. I would not have included that in the film. But in terms of the drama and the gravity of the moment, I wish this was earlier in the film.
Yeah, it hooks you.
I made it immediately connected me to this couple that I literally spent this entire film literally going, who are these people?
Yeah.
Like, do I care about them? Do I know them? Are they interesting?
I would almost like, so you started with letter reading. I would almost start with this or incorporate it early and then do the letter reading like, 30 seconds to a minute.
I would actually,
because the letter reading I thought it was fine.
I would mix them.
Or that, yeah.
I would mix these in my narrative. I would just juice this film up, get it to like 5 minutes, really bring the drama. I think the dance floor thing, it's just the wrong direction for this film. These people were, maybe have a minute of like a crazy party, but this could have been a very, very dramatic.
A minute in a theoretical sense.
Yeah, this could have been like a really, really dramatic 4 minutes of filmmaking. You had this interview that were the letter readings that were good, and then you had this first look, which had some nice pieces of dialogue and really good drama and good emotion.
Welcome to Wedding Film School Live, where we tell you that your film should have been half as long. And
the one tip.
Yeah. Honestly, it's borderline universal.
Yeah. You can't even submit a film longer than 4.5 minutes to WPPI, which you should do coming up and come hang out with us in Vegas in February.
Yeah, you should plan to be there. And it's like the very last day of February, right? It's like end of February, into March.
Dude, it's going to be, we're going to do the same thing. Weddings Film Speakeasy. Tickets are limited. Mm-hmm. Coolest bar in Vegas. I feel pretty confident.
Actually, honestly, coolest bar I've been to. Best bartender I've ever rubbed elbows with.
Yeah, it was so much fun. In the night singing. We're going to do it again. In the night singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
We need that piano player again too. He was cool.
He was like
and also very good.
Yeah, he was like a weird like gay cowboy.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
From the future.
It worked though.
Oh, it totally worked. It was like it was so Vegas. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was amazing.
What's up?
Kyle floated in the river with me too.
Oh, wow. Rub it in.
It was. Oh yeah, you should have went. It was amazing. Okay, so I think we've kind of went through some of the things we didn't like about the film.
Yeah, we talked through a lot of it.
But I'd like to just give them a few positive just enforcement, which is, there's a lot of good shots. I think there's a lot of shots, that you can see the inexperience, the not centering your gimbal. But also, I can see the instincts to get the type of shots and get the coverage you need. And I think that's really big.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of coverage for being a first, like in a good way. I'm saying that for being your first film, like again, like I said with the first film we did this evening as well, just like that's tough to do. Another thing is I think like, okay, your white balance tough, it needs some work and
color grading,
whatever. Yep, but like you definitely have a grasp on your lighting in the scenarios where you seem to have control.
Yeah,
like
where you felt comfortable.
Yeah, like that's a cool shot.
That's
I
cool
like
right
that.
there.
Like, like maybe you're like the color grade is hard for me. This is pretty low quality coming through Zoom for me.
It's also just the upload.
And it's
was
just low quality in the upload and whatever. But like that, or like the shot of her reading the letter, like I really like your use of light. Like maybe the white balance off, but like I like that it's hitting her. It's super soft on her face. I don't know. Like you definitely have an understanding of your light, and that is a big step to have already secured.
My tip with white balance for you is you really only need to know like 5 basic positions in white balance, and you can usually predict what they're going to be. Like if I'm driving to a first look, I'm like already, this is my white balance when I get there. I usually know. Like I'm going to be, 5800 or 6500 or.
Yeah, I'm like 5800 in sunlight. I'm in the 6000s in anything that's not direct sun. I'm, 3000 something if it's like all tungsten bulb and no windows. And if it's somewhere in between, I'm usually like, if it's mixed lighting, I'm usually in my like mid to upper 4000s.
Yeah, just kind of getting, and also like there are days where I'm like, today I'm going to shoot sunlight at 6100 because I want to, because it's going to.
I'm just going to do it.
It's going to produce. It's going to produce the vibe I want for this whole edit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, just kind of having a sense of what you're trying to do with color as you're shooting and how you want to portray skin tones and how you want the sun to feel. But in general, like you don't need to know every little thing. And there are some cheat sheets that you can do. Like Matt Johnson actually just did a video pretty recently about white balance that I really recommend if you really struggle with it. To help you walk.
Well, that's one of the things. Like basically what it boils down to for a lot of aspects in wedding filmmaking is intentionality.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you can literally be like, I'm shooting this film really warm.
Yeah.
And if it was consistent throughout the film and then the grade was handled properly, it would be maybe I would think it was dumb. But I wouldn't like. I would be more criticizing. Like, I don't like your taste. I wouldn't be saying you made a mistake.
Yeah, it's not wrong. Yeah, exactly.
It's not wrong. I just would disagree with your taste, and maybe your couples would too, and maybe some of your couples would be like, "That's amazing. I've always wanted a film like this." And so at the end of the day, like, don't overthink white balance. I would just say like you really only need to understand like 4 or 5 positions that you need to be hitting, and after that, then you're making some judgment calls, which you can do once you feel like you nail the fundamentals. Anything else we should just give them? There's a lot of stuff to work on. The audio is a big issue throughout the film. I will say the way that you're using music, the editing, I think needs a lot of work as well, which is like just allowing yourself to pick up that pace. But I think don't worry about that yet. Focus on the other things. And exactly what you said, I think Pedro had a very smart observation, which is getting the rhythm of the day. Yep. That to me is the number one thing that I can see in the film. I can see the stress, and like, I think that'll change. I want to see you shoot more films, and you're a good wedding filmmaker. You need to keep doing it because this stuff that you're struggling with will become second nature.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, Bobby, why don't you close us out on Wedding Film School Live tonight?
Sweet. Yeah, thank you guys all for joining. I feel like this was a fun night. We had a couple good films and got a lot of stuff, tackled in ways to improve and whatnot. Many thanks to everybody who joined. Special thanks to our members. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can hit the little join button down below. It's probably down here based on where you're looking at me. Next is the subscribe button. Starts at just $5 a month. It goes a long way in just helping support this community. And you also get priority in getting your films reviewed, among other benefits, which are all listed out there on the different tiers. Submit your films. You can do that. There's a comment pinned at the top of the live chat with our website with a direct link to where to submit your films. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we're done.
Woo, party! Hey guys, Can't wait to hang out with you guys at a Wedding Film Speakeasy. Like I said, we're going to be hanging out in Nashville. We're going to be hanging out in New York City, and we're going to be doing one in February in Las Vegas, which these are in-person events for wedding filmmakers. That's the next evolution of Wedding Film School, is not just a bunch of YouTube content, but this is a community of people. We want to make it real. So thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we will see you coming up on Wedding Film School Live. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.